Hi, everyone, and welcome to another exciting edition of CRIISP Growth Labs. Today, we have a very special guest with us. He's a renowned expert in the art of pitching for funding and has helped numerous entrepreneurs achieve their growth objectives through succinct and impactful presentations. Today's topic of discussion is mastering the art of pitching, anticipate, engage, and succeed. So please join me in welcoming Adam Shaw, the master of mastering pitches. Adam, thank you for joining us today.
A pleasure to be here, Rhythm. Thank you for inviting me.
It is our pleasure indeed. Now, to kick things off, Adam, can you talk about your journey as a mentor and give some background for our audience?
Well, interestingly enough, I came from the world of nursing. So I was a late starter in the world of entrepreneurs, and I didn't know what I was doing. I spent 2 years, I left nursing without any plan, without any business courses at all. And I was chasing my tail. Luckily, I met an investor and I realized that working on my own wasn't going to cut it. I wanted to learn from him. And so we decided to set up a business together. And after going out and asking 100 of the people that he knew in business, what were they struggling with the most? The unanimous thing was funding. So we started from scratch. We created a funding company and eventually went on to run events. And it was there through speaking to hundreds of investors and getting feedback that I realized how important the pitch was. So that's the short version.
Amazing. That's truly very fascinating, Adam. Now that we understand your background, let's delve into the art of pitching. So how does pitching for funding actually differ from other forms of public speaking? It would be great if we could begin with that. And also, why is it crucial to approach it differently?
Well, it's simply in one sentence, less is more. Public speaking gets you confident and get on stage and you can speak for indefinite lengths of time. But in pitching, it is vitally important to keep your answers as succinct as possible and as relevant as possible, and to listen to the questions that you've been asked and to ensure that by the time that you finish talking, that you've answered them.
Amazing, Adam. That was very great to note. Now, precision is paramount when seeking investments. Building on that, could you share some common challenges that, according to you, entrepreneurs face when it comes to pitching for funding?
Well, there's a ton of them. Let's start with the stats. Most pre-revenue companies will not get funded. VC and angels invest in pre-startups. Less than 1% of them get through. So it's a very challenging environment. It's a bit like a lottery ticket. I don't think most entrepreneurs understand just how difficult it is. And I don't think that most of them think about it as if it was their money, investing in someone they'd never heard of for a business that they don't really understand quite often. And really to drill home the fact that there is a market, you have to prove it. And proving it is a bit chicken and egg on the funding path. Have you got an audience? Oh, we'll get the audience when we get funded. Funders generally don't like that. They want you to prove that you've got an audience before they'll give you money. And I think a lot of startup founders, they simply don't understand this dynamic.
Well, those are very good points that you've raised, Adam. I agree with those. Now, handling challenging situations during a pitch is undoubtedly vital. So how do you advise entrepreneurs to handle moments when, let's say, they encounter questions that they aren't fully prepared for?
That's a really good question, Rhythm. And, the thing that I found that works the best is radical honesty. Ultimately, the unique selling point of any pitch or any business, despite what you think, usually comes down to the person pitching. And what the question that most, especially angel investors, not so much VCs, they're two very different beasts when it comes to raising money, but a lot of it's down to personality. And the investor is likely to want to know that they can get straight answers out of you and that they can trust you. And not only that, it's possible to, through honesty, to turn a pitch around, or to turn a question around. If you demonstrate, well, look, this isn't something that we have covered at the moment, but we're hoping that an investor will be able to help us with this. If you show that you're coachable, if you show that you're being reasonable and you're not trying to pull the wool over their eyes, then that usually goes a lot further than trying to blag your way out of a situation by answering in a way that you think should be answered. You're not a politician. It's a different skill set for that.
Yeah, that is absolutely true, Adam. And you have given great advice to our audience. Now, let's shift gears a bit and focus on the emotional aspect of pitching. So, pitching can indeed be a very nerve-wracking experience. So, what tips or techniques can you share with us today on how our clients can manage nerves and exude confidence during their presentations?
Well, there's a very simple one, Rhythm, that in my experience, most people get wrong. You can very easily increase your confidence levels or your perceived confidence levels by something really, really simple. And that is start your presentation with a smile. Smiling has been proven that the perception of people that smile, they're perceived as more successful and more confident. So even if you're not feeling it, even a false smile can get you through. But for people that have got really big nerves going on to public speaking, the technique that I've found that use is to slow down my breathing or even hold my breath for as long as I can. Breathing affects your mood, it affects your energy, it affects your emotional state. And you can do that by slowing down your breathing, or even if it's really bad, holding your breath for as long as you can. It will slow things down, it will get your physiology in a better place, and it will reset you to do a better job.
Amazing. Well, Adam, for sure, I'm going to be using that advice in my day-to-day life as well. Always begin with a smile. That's great. Now, lastly, Adam, as a parting question, can you share with us like any specific resources or tools that you recommend to entrepreneurs who want to continue improving their pitching skills?
Well, there's no substitute to practice. It really is practice, 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 practice. I can't emphasize this enough. And practice in front of people that don't understand the world of investment as well, so that see what they look at it. But really, you want to get an honest entrepreneur or someone that invests on the other side so they can ask you the real questions that you're going to face. And not only that, if you go to one pitch and you get a difficult question, then see that as an opportunity to then create an answer to it. So ideally, you write down the 5 or even 10 most difficult questions that you have to answer on your business. And one of them is always, what's the valuation? And where do you get the value from? How did you get the valuation of this company? You need to believe in the valuation. And if you've just got an idea that you're taking out there and you've got no traction, that's going to be really difficult. I see most people wobble when they get to the tough questions. You need to be ready for them. So practice, practice, practice. A good place, a good local resource to start, where I started, would be the Yes Group, not the Yes Group, the Toastmasters. I mean, the different groups, different public speaking groups, get out and practice whenever you can. Never miss an opportunity. There is no substitute for practice. And bear this in mind, being a good entrepreneur does not make you a good public speaker. And being a good public speaker does not make you good at pitching. They're two completely separate entities. It's very much a niche thing, being able to pitch, being specific, coming across as confident, and being prepared. There's no substitute for that.
Brilliant. That is absolutely great advice, Adam. And we really appreciate you sharing your invaluable expertise with us today. Your insights that you've shared with us on mastering the art of pitching will undoubtedly benefit our CRIISP Growth Labs participants and beyond. And we truly appreciate your time and knowledge. To our audience, please stay tuned for more enriching interviews. And if you would like to get in touch with Adam, you can see the details at the side of the screen or in the description of this video. Again, Adam, thank you so much for joining me for this interview, and I wish you all the luck moving forward.
Thanks, Rhythm. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you.